Welcome to Tantric Tuesday and your weekly bite-sized pleasure moment. Pleasure Coach Vireo coming to you from my home near Amasko Lake. And my tip for you today, I love how the light's flying through there. My tip for you today is to stop comparing yourself to others. It is toxic, and I'm going to show you close up with the roses what I mean by that. So, the rose at the front doesn't say to the rose on the left at the back, hey, you're not as colorful as I am. And the rose on the right-hand side that's in a bud doesn't compare itself to the other roses that says, hey, I'm so closed, I'm tight, I'm not open yet. And then the rose that is completely fallen apart, that the petals are on the ground, doesn't say that there's anything wrong with it at this stage either. I'm going to show you a few others. And then this rose that's on the left that is completely falling apart doesn't say to the rose at the back, you know, you're too closed, you need to be more open. And the one on the right doesn't say, hey, you're not blooming yet, you're not as beautiful. And same with this one that is kind of getting wrinkling and falling apart. The one that's in a tight, beautiful bud doesn't say to the one that's wrinkling and falling apart, hey, you're ugly. And then this one that's like completely fallen apart and the petals are all dried up and wrinkly, doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. And this one is still beautiful even though it's falling apart and wrinkly and the petals are, most of them are on the ground. So the rose is a rose is a rose, whether it is tight as a bud, petals blooming wide open, falling apart, ready to fruit. It does not criticize other roses. It just opens in its own perfect divine time and goes through the beautiful stages of its life. And these stages are repeated. And I have to say one more thing, that this is the most prolific these roses have ever been in my whole life. And as I mentioned in one of my everyday ecstasy tips, part of why these roses are so absolutely stunningly beautiful this year is because there has been a lot of rain. So that might be equivalent in our lives to challenges, to things that seem heavy and they go on and on and on, but yet we literally have had mostly 3 weeks of rain. And that from that rain, from those challenges in your life, much beauty will always, always, always come. So where in your life can you stop comparing yourself, and where can you be grateful for the rain, for the challenges, because they will bring much beauty and much abundance, prolific abundance. And I'll see you next week for your Tantric Tuesday weekly bite-sized pleasure moment, because your pleasure matters. It literally nourishes your vital organs. And Rise Wellness Retreat is happening in August. Check below if you want to go to BC. It is one of my favorite festivals, and it's an opportunity to be relaxed, in tune, in nature, by the river with your amazing soul sisters and soul brothers. So click on the link below and check more on that, and I'll see you next week.